When the Dallas Cowboys decided to hire Mike McCarthy in 2020, they made way for him to put together a coaching staff of guys he knew and trusted. One of those guys was Mike Nolan, the failed defensive coordinator that had spent time with numerous teams throughout his career. So what's one more failed attempt in Dallas? Because Nolan was absolutely terrible, and he failed miserably again with the Cowboys in 2020. The defense was an embarrassment to say the least. Dallas allowed the most points with 473 and second most rushing yards with 2,541 in franchise history. It was one of the worst products the team had ever put on the field defensively. They couldn't stop the run, they couldn't rush the passer, it was just brutal all the way around. Granted, Dak Prescott did get hurt and the offense stunk too, but Mike Nolan was downright awful. The Cowboys would go on to win just 6 games. But something changed after 2020 when the team decided to hire Dan Quinn, former defensive coordinator of the Legion of Boom. But something even better happened on the first night of the 20 NFL draft that changed this Cowboys defense we've seen over the past 2 years. This is a video on how Dan Quinn and Micah Parsons have changed the Dallas Cowboys defense for the better, and how in 2023 this could be the best unit in all of pro football. It's the offseason, we got to talk about something, so let's get into it. A major complaint from Cowboys fans over the years has been the lack of progressive thinking from the coaching staff. Jason Garrett was stuck in his ways and never really changed much throughout his decade with the team. Mike Nolan was like trying to stick a round peg in a square hole. The coaching staff never seemed to set up their own players for success. It was more about finding guys to fit their system instead of changing the system to fit their players' talents. Something we've seen great coaches do time and time again. So Dan Quinn has been a breath of fresh air for all of us Cowboys fans. When Quinn arrived in 2021, we knew he had been a good coordinator with the Seattle Seahawks, leading to one of the best defenses in recent memory. But there were questions if it was the players or coaching scheme that made that team so special. And I would say, looking at it now, we can confidently say it was a combination of the two. Because in Dallas, Quinn has done a fabulous job playing the game to his players' strengths. For example, when Jayron Kearse was signed on a 1-year deal with the Cowboys, he was honestly meant to be a camp body that maybe with some injury luck could sneak onto the team with some special teams ability. Instead, Dan Quinn carved out a role that made Kearse a key piece to the Cowboys defense. Quinn saw something in Kearse that no other team before had. The potential of a cover safety that can blanket tight ends with his incredible length and size, and a player that can also come down and play as a linebacker type guy. And guess what? It worked out great. Kearse has been one of the main guys and leaders of this defense. That's not the only example of how great Quinn has been. After Dallas lost both of its top 2 corners last season, the defense did regress a little bit, but I give Dan Quinn a ton of credit for not letting it fall completely apart. They had to band-aid the cornerback position with young guys, and once again, Quinn had a plan going into both playoff games. In years past, we would have seen Cowboys teams fold due to injuries to top guys. But in 2022, they did more than band-aid it. They stayed pretty damn good. While Dan Quinn has certainly found ways to use players to their own advantage, I don't think there is a better example on this team than that of Micah Parsons. But before we talk about Micah, I want to introduce to you the first ever Double Move season preview guide, brought to you by yours truly. Get ahead of every other Cowboys fan with our comprehensive free guide packed with everything you need to know for the upcoming season. Unlock 2023 season stat projections, an in-depth look at the Cowboys team roster, and dive into detailed player breakdowns. This guide gives you the competitive advantage. If you want this guide, visit DoubleMoveFB.com today and download your completely free Double Move season preview guide. I'm not making any money off of this. It's just something I want to do for all of my subscribers. So head to DoubleMoveFB.com, put your email in, and then it will be emailed directly to you as soon as it's completed. It'll be linked down below and in the comments section. Now on to When the Cowboys selected Micah Parsons just outside the top 10 in 2020, people were not happy the team had taken an off-ball linebacker that high in the draft. So, as we figured out in recent years, Micah isn't just an off-ball linebacker. Before we talk about this, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think anyone on the Cowboys coaching staff knew that Micah could rush the passer. In college, we never really saw him line up at the edge and just straight up rush. I mean, he was good in certain blitz packages shooting the gap, but I'm not going to give Dan Quinn all of the credit like he knew Micah was a double-digit sack guy year in and year out. But here's what I do give Quinn credit for with Micah Parsons. In week 2 of 2021, Cowboys former defensive end Randy Gregory went down with an injury and the team was super light on the defensive end position. So Quinn decided to move around the chess pieces a little bit and put Micah at edge. Since then, Parsons has been one of, if not the most valuable player to a defensive unit. Since that moment, defensively, this team has taken leaps and bounds from where we saw in 2020. Micah has racked up 26.5 sacks in the past 2 years. In both of those years, the Cowboys have led the league in takeaways and quietly became the 6th best unit in total defense. So in less than a 2-year span from Mike Dolan, this team had went from worst to almost first. With Micah's ability to stress the quarterback in pass rush situations, and then Dan Quinn moving around the chess pieces to figure out where guys are best, has turned this unit into something completely different. So going into the 2023 season, the Dallas Cowboys defense is looking to put together another great year. After making this video, it's insane to look back at that 2020 season and see how bad they were. 2 moves changed this team for the better. I can't remember the last time I was this excited about a Cowboys defense. There are playmakers everywhere. Trayvon Diggs, Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, Leighton Vander Esch, and I can go on and on. So I can't wait to see what Dan Quinn and Micah Parsons cook up this year for the Cowboys in 2023. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, now that you're done, head down there and get your DoubleMove preview. 2 simple steps, doublemovefb.com. Put your email in, click submit. I love you all. Bye.
Go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave.